Welcome back, everyone, to NFL Talking Points. I'm your host, Joseph Gardner. Today we are talking trades. The trade deadline is coming up here this next week. With me to talk trades, always coming on as a regular on this podcast, Matthew Arscott. Matthew, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Joseph. Thanks. So excited for trade deadline weekend and everything that it has to bring with it.
Thank you so much for being here. And as an additional guest, I am so excited. We've got Matt Backlund. He's joining us for this fun trade talk. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm really good. Thanks for having me, Joseph.
I am so excited to have both of these guys on. They both have the same name, so I'll be referring to Matt Backlund as Matt and Matthew Arscott as Matthew, so that hopefully you guys don't get confused. We're going to just get right into it. Each of us has two trades that we would like to propose to each other. And what we're going to do is I'm going to represent a team that's wanting to trade, and I will pick Matthew or Matt to represent the other team. Just to start, I am going to be the Packers I'm going to be the Packers, and I am calling the Saints. Matthew, will you represent the Saints? I am calling to talk about Alontae Taylor. He's a cornerback for the Saints. He's right now kind of third on their depth chart. He was a 2022 second-round pick. It feels like you guys are on the downslide. You've got Kool-Aid McKinstry. You've got people playing ahead of him. The Packers could really use some depth in their cornerback room. I would like to trade a fifth-round pick for your third-string cornerback in Alontae Taylor. Matthew Arscott of the Saints, what say you?
Yeah, okay, so just to clarify, you would like us to give you Alontae Taylor. You're looking at giving us a fifth-round pick. Is that for next year, 2026
yes,
draft?
Yes, 2026.
Okay,
yep.
See, that's important because I'll tell you what. We're a little bit of sellers here at the trade deadline, being the New Orleans Saints. And as the representative of the New Orleans Saints here, I'm here to tell you that we have a very young core. I know that everybody knows kind of how we're looking this year. I'll tell you what, 5 picks next year in the 2026 draft for us. So we could definitely use a little bit of a pick, but I really like Alontae. I'll tell you what, he's really put up some good numbers. 26 years old, a little bit of youth. Tell me what you have in terms of, do you have a fourth-round pick? What are we looking at here? I mean, you guys are really set up. You're Super Bowl bound. You wouldn't mind a fourth versus a fifth, right?
We have some starting cornerbacks. We've got a few. We just want some depth.
Okay.
You have depth that we would like. I think a fourth-round pick is probably the highest we could go.
Then let's do it.
How about
you said
fourth?
it. How about a fourth? I'd stick with the fourth for
Okay.
Alontae Taylor from the New Orleans Saints. I'll give you Alontae. I'll tell him to pack his bags tonight.
I think the Saints win this trade a little bit with the fourth-round pick, but we'll take it.
There you go. What would you say as the Packers representative, though? Do you feel that like giving up a fourth for Alontae Taylor would be something that's worth it for your team, or do you think that you could get a better draft asset out of a fourth-round pick next year?
I do think so. We've got Carrington Valentine on the outside. We've got Keyshawn Nixon on the outside, and we've got Nate Hobbs in the slot. Right now, they're trying to put Nate Hobbs on the outside and play Javon Bullard in the slot, and that's not working out. I think that we just need some depth, because if even one of those three goes down, it's really bad. And Nixon is so hot and cold so far this year. So I just think we need a little bit more in that cornerback room. That's really our main issue right now with this team. We're pretty set. So I think, not to say that we're going all in by getting a third-string cornerback, but, we're at that point. So
the hard thing is that there are so many teams right now who are looking for cornerbacks. Most of, I'd argue, the competitors for both the NFC and the AFC are in the market for corners. So if that had been me, I don't know if I would have taken a fourth round pick because there's so much demand that I would think that I could get something better, even though he's a third string.
I like that.
That is a good point. You know what? That is a good point. 29 out of 32 teams are looking at defensive needs right here this draft weekend. Of those 29 teams, I think 14 of them, almost 50%, are literally on the need for a cornerback. And I think Joseph and I, Matt, were talking about this a little bit last week. If you're a cornerback right now, you are chilling with job security, man. You could negotiate benefits. You can negotiate whatever you want. Offensive side of the ball, unless you're an offensive lineman or a 5-star quarterback, might be a little bit harder, like a receiver or a running back type. Might be a little bit harder to get into the league right now. Meanwhile, you hit the nail on the head. Cornerbacks are, and that's a good point. Maybe I should have thought about that a little bit before just giving him up for a fourth rounder, because we might just end up drafting. What are we going to draft with that fourth rounder? So good point.
A third string cornerback.
Another third string cornerback.
It's that it could be anything. It could even be a boat. From Family Guy. It's the box where, would you like a boat or would you like this box that could have anything in it?
Give me the box.
The box could even have a boat in it. Like, we'll just take the boat. Thanks. So, yep. Matthew, what do you got for us as far as a trade?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I am going to represent the San Francisco 49ers. I'm looking to buy here at the trade deadline, which is a little controversial because we don't know quite how good or how bad the 49ers are. They have a pretty good record, but they've shown a lot of injury this year. I'm going to represent the 49ers. I would like to trade with the Cincinnati Bengals. Are there either one of you that feel like you would like to represent the Cincinnati Bengals? Both of you?
I can do that.
Matt, let's do it. All right. I'm gonna get this pulled up right here. All I'm doing is just making sure on my end I have a couple of statistics up in terms of salary cap, etc. But I'm gonna be the 49ers and I'm gonna ring you up. Ring on the Cincinnati Bengals. My trade offer that I'm looking at, and I'm going to start the show off hot here with my first one. As the San Francisco 49ers, I have all these draft picks that I don't really feel like that I need, that I feel like that you as the Cincinnati Bengals could really benefit from. I'd like to send you a 2026 second-round draft pick and a 2027 fifth-round draft pick just for, like, man, I don't know, some guy named Trey Hendrickson on the defensive line of the Cincinnati Bengals. What are we thinking about that? Not a cornerback, man. I wouldn't ask you for a cornerback. That's too valuable right now. But Trey Hendrickson, I really think that here we need to bulk up our defense and our depth a little bit more. Robert Sala's doing an amazing job for our team. That's my trade offer. Second rounder next year, fifth rounder 27.
Well, man, it's a hard thing because Trey Hendrickson is the cornerstone of our defense. Our entire defense is built around him, and much of our success or failure comes from him. You do know that he's injured, right?
I do know that he's injured. Yeah, man.
Okay.
I don't even know why I'm doing this. This is a horrible deal for me.
It's a 49ers special. That's what they specialize in.
That's what. Yeah, we want to add to our IR. Are you kidding me? Let's just gas our IR budget.
Well, he may be injured this season, but he still is that cornerstone. And with the second round pick, I'm not sure that we'd be able to get someone like him again. And so I'd counter offer a first round pick in 2026 and fifth round in 2027.
Now, see, if I was the Niners GM in this situation, do I want to be giving up a first round pick? How much do I care about defense? How about let's do another little counter offer here. Okay, counter your counter. How about I'll give you a first rounder, but I give you a 7th rounder in 2027.
I'd do that.
Okay. All right. There you go. You get 2 picks. The Trey Hendrickson, he's injured. He's going to be 31 years old next year. It gives you an opportunity to scrap the entire defense. You say that Trey Hendrickson is your cornerstone. I'm gonna counter and argue that Trey Hendrickson's your entire defense. But this gives you an opportunity to wipe the slate clean and let's just start over. If you're Bengals Nation, adding to those assets, Joseph, what do you think about our trade that we just delivered? A 1st and a 7th for Trey Hendrickson to the Niners.
I think that Cincy wins that trade. I think that giving up anything more than a 2nd-round pick for Trey Hendrickson is a little steep. He's old. He's getting up there in age, and you're giving away draft capital for someone who is injured and old. If you're going to give up a 1st-round pick, you want him to be able to contribute. And it's a win-now scenario. And I think the 49ers could be in a win-now scenario here, but I think that you've got to get someone who can make plays for you immediately. And so I think that the 2nd and 5th was probably decent. I do think that Matt was in the right to up the price a little bit, but all the way to a 1st-round pick, that's pretty steep. I think a 2nd and maybe a 2027 3rd would have done it.
If we're getting really deep into the mud here, what I should have done is I maybe could have given him a 1st, but I could have given him a conditional 7th round pick, seeing based off of a success rate. Seeing if you guys are going to be successful, then I'm going to get my 7th
number of games
back.
Played.
Exactly.
I think like you could have done a conditional 2nd or a conditional 1st for number of games played. If Trey Hendrickson doesn't play for you this year, then you only give up a 2nd-round pick. And if he plays for you, you give up the 1st, but you get the benefits of it.
Man, I'm 0 for 2, man. I'm so bad at this, I should go GM for the Miami Dolphins.
Or the Jets. Don't forget the Jets.
Or the Jets, or both, man. Just hire me now. I don't have that much I don't ask that much of a salary.
All right, Matt, what do you got for a trade?
All right, let me pull this up here. Okay, so I'm going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. Which of you would like to be the Jets?
I'll play the Jets.
All right, Joseph. All right, so I'm here. I'm a representative of the Chiefs. We really need help in our backfield this year. It's not been going well. We've got a rotation between 3 different running backs, and none of them have been very successful. And we've heard over here that a few whispers that Breece Hall might be available. We really like what we've seen from him, but obviously you've got a new coach. That coach is going to want to draft and work with his own players, and so I think we can work out something really nice here. I would like to propose a 3rd-round pick in 2026 and a conditional 3rd-round pick in 2027.
Ooh. All right. So is it a 4th-round pick that can be up to a 3rd-round pick?
Yes.
Okay. For Breece Hall? Ooh, I don't know. Breece Hall is a big part of this offense, but we don't really have much of an offense here. And Braylon Allen is playing really well still. I don't think our organization is in a position that we can really say that we really need a top-tier running back at this point. A 3rd and a conditional 3rd, I think we're going to meet that conditional 3rd. Whatever it is Breece Hall's going to get with this Chiefs team, I accept. I'll take it. 3rd-round pick and a conditional third for the next year. I think the Jets need that more than they need Breece Hall at this point.
Sweet. Happy doing business with you.
Love it.
All right, Matthew, what do you say to this trade? Who wins?
Yeah, you know what? I do like the. I think it's a very, very fair trade. I would give a little bit of an edge to the Jets. I don't think there's any way the Jets can lose at this point in terms of the trade deadline. I mean, that's the only reason I give them the edge. Breece Hall is going to be a free agent here. Looked great on Sunday. Perhaps this is the time that you can get the most value out of him. So I do like it from both sides because I like the idea of the Jets selling. I think, Matt, this was an amazingly proposed trade. Breece Hall at this point in time is a high-value trade asset coming up into the deadline. All of these trades that we've proposed so far, I actually wouldn't be surprised if Breece Hall is one of the higher, more likelihood of seeing him traded. We see him traded more. I didn't say that right. I believe that Breece Hall will be traded by the trade deadline. I think this is a great time. I like the picks that you gave up. I like the conditional that the Chiefs got back. I think that very solid trade, and I just like the idea of the Jets giving up Breece Hall.
I do too.
It would be super fun to see Breece Hall on this Chiefs offense.
Yeah, and as much as I love the Jets coach, their GM, oh man, not a big fan of him. The other place I could see Breece Hall going, though, I could also see him going to the Patriots. They have one of the worst running back rooms in the league right now. They don't have a running back that doesn't have some kind of big hole in their game. And so getting someone like Breece Hall could really prop them up.
I mean, I like that. The Patriots do have Travion Henderson, who they just drafted. I think that for some reason it seems like Mike Vrabel just has something against running Travion Henderson. I think if they were to use Travion Henderson, I think that they've got a decent running back room there. But I do see what you're saying, Matt. If the Patriots had someone like Breece Hall, that would absolutely change that offense. I'm with you, though. It is an in-division trade.
And
that's
true.
That would be something that I don't think the Jets would love to just, here's one of our best offensive players. I can't wait to have him run through our defense twice a year and immediately.
The Bengals did it.
Yeah, for real. And so did the Giants. All right, I'll do my next one. I am the Bills. I am calling Matt of the Saints. Matt is, of course, a famous part of that Saints organization there. Unfortunately, the Saints are not doing too good this year, even though I like them as a team. I am the Bills. Matt, this is going to be a big ask. I want a wide receiver, and I'm not talking about Rashid Shaheed. I want Chris Olave on my Bills team. I need a wide receiver for Josh Allen, and I'm willing to give up a second and a 2026 second and a 2026 fourth. Second and fourth round pick for Chris Olave, both of them this coming year. He is just about to end his deal coming up. I think that you're going to have a hard time paying him going forward because you've got such a steep cap. Your team is not in the best of places right now. I think you could use that second to rebuild, but I need a wide receiver now, and Chris Olave is the wide receiver one that I would like. Second and fourth round pick of 2026 for Chris Olave. What do you say, Matt?
Deal.
Bam!
We didn't want him over here anyways. You can take him.
Chris Olave to the Bills, everyone. Huh?
You know what? I would love to see that. I'm not gonna lie. Like I won't even hide my bias here. I would love to see Chris Olave behind. No offense, a half decent quarterback. I think that the Bills receiver room needs a little twinge of an upgrade. I love this. Saints are buyers. Well, Saints are sellers for draft capital. Bills are buyers. Excellent.
You know, the trade I'd actually like to see the Bills make is I would like to see them take Rashid Shaheed, because you give up less for him, but I think he's got a higher floor than Chris Olave.
Ooh.
So
you've got the concussions from Chris Olave that I guess kind of lower his floor, as well as the wide receiver one diva kind of thing you don't want in your locker room. Rashid Shaheed is just a solid locker room dude. He would fit really well with that organization, and with his speed, it does open up the underneath for players like Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox and Khalil Shakir in the kind of the mid-range game. So I do like that trade too. If I were to offer that, if I were the Bills for Rashid Shaheed, I'd probably give a 6th, maybe a 7th.
Really?
I don't think I could do too much more than that. He's a speedster wide receiver, but he's not an everything all-in-one guy. Mm-hmm. So I think I'd give up a 6th at most if I were the Bills.
Fair enough.
All right. Matthew, what do you got for your next trade?
Okay. Joseph, I'm going to have you representing the Miami Dolphins, okay?
Heck yeah.
So I want you to pull up whatever you need to on the Dolphins. I, too, like Matt, am going to be representing the Chiefs, but from a little bit of a different angle. I'm going to be representing the Chiefs at an outlook on the defensive side of the ball. I think that the Chiefs,
I like this,
who have had they've had some good defensive outings this year. They've also had some, against the Lions. They've also had some questions on defense at certain times. I think a key position of need is right up there on the front line. Defensive edge, defensive tackle. I think they have a need on the edge. I do think they have a slightly bigger need on the defensive tackle side. I think an upgrade to Derek Nottie would be very important. This is all prefacing, of course, my trade that I'm going to offer, right? That being said, I don't think that there's as many open market selling teams for the defensive tackle, so I'm going to be targeting the Miami Dolphins, who I view as a seller, and I'm going to say that we are looking at a defensive edge. So I am going to offer straight up, and here's my pitch. Ready? We have a cornerback. Everybody wants a cornerback at this point in time. My cornerback is Christian Fulton. Okay? The Chiefs signed Fulton to a 2-year deal in free agency. They put him alongside Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, but and I wouldn't say this to the GM, but just because of a little knee injury in training camp, he hasn't played as much, was a healthy scratch in week 7, has been passed on the depth chart. That being said, Christian Fulton is out on the trading block for me. I'm looking for a 1-for-1. I will give up a cornerback in Christian Fulton. What I'm looking for, you know what? I'll give that and a conditional 7th up. Specifically looking at, and my page just started to refresh out of nowhere. I want Matthew Judon, edge rusher of the Miami Dolphins. Conditional 7th, Christian Fulton, cornerback. I want Matthew Judon.
We could use a cornerback. We've got Juju Brents out, so right now we've got Ethan Bonner and Jack Jones as our corners. That's
major hole in that defense.
We could definitely use a corner. Our defensive line is probably the only strength that this team has outside of maybe Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, but Tyreek Hill is injured for eternity from what it looks like. So I can't take that deal. I would need some sort of draft capital. We're not looking for player at this point. We'll just keep our defensive line.
Conditional 7th, though. You can have.
I'm okay. It would have to be Matthew Judon, man. He's a good player. I'll do it for a 6th. I'll do the trade, and you give me a 6th round pick, and we'll call it a deal.
No condition on the 7th. You can just have my 7th rounder.
I can't do that.
Oh, how about a conditional?
Conditional 6th. Conditional 6th.
Yeah, you can be, because here's the deal. I think that I need to see some output from Matthew Judon on our side. Let's
fair.
call it conditional 6 based off of if he's healthy.
Games played by Matthew Judon.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That's exactly
Okay.
what I think that I would go for. Okay.
I'll take that deal.
And before we see what Matt has to say, I do think that Chiefs lose that trade just a little bit, giving up a little too much for Judon. But I don't know, Matt. What say you?
Yeah, I would agree with that. At this point in his career, it seems like Matthew Judon is more of a backup. 2022, he did have 15 and a half sacks that season. But this season, he has 0 sacks and only even a few tackles. And so that's I like it because I think that he has the potential, but I like the conditional pick there because you don't really know what he's going to be yet.
I think that's kind of what I want to see out of it. I have to have that. I can't just give up a 6th rounder for him. I have to see output from him. If I see output from him, sure, it's worth it. But like if I don't, then I mean we did just trade 1 for 1 on a guy that I don't feel that we really need. All that aside, I do think that the Dolphins are sellers at this trade deadline. Just looking, stepping back and looking at the big picture, I would love the Chargers to target a cornerback. I know that they got Zach Wilson. I know that they have Quinn Ewers. I would love to see them maybe target Trey Lance and see what Trey Lance could possibly bring to the table in a QB battlefield that is a war zone right now in that QB room.
I love it. All right, Matt, what do you got for your second trade?
All right, let me pull this up here. All right. So, I'm going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Matthew, do you want to be the Raiders?
I'd be happy to be the Raiders. Let me get the Steelers pulled up. Let me get the Raiders pulled up on my end. What do you got for me?
All right. So, at this trade deadline, Jacoby Myers has expressed interest over and over in leaving the team. And over here, we really would love to have another receiver for Aaron Rodgers to target. We really think this could be the year that we get over the wild card hump that we've been on for 10 years or so.
Okay.
And we'd really love to get over that hump, and we think Jacoby Myers could be the guy who gets us there. So I'd like to offer a 2026 5th round pick and a 2027 conditional 7th round pick.
So let me just get this straight. 6th unconditional in 26 and a conditional 7th in 27.
5th unconditional
fifth.
in 2026.
Okay. Couple of notes on this before we dive into my thoughts. First of all, Jacoby Myers plays more in the slot. Isn't that going to interrupt your offense with all your tight ends that you're running?
It gives us more flexibility to run different formations.
All right, good answer. Okay. In terms of we it's no secret Jacoby Myers wants out of Vegas right now. We don't have him signed beyond this season. As of right now, it's trade contract talks are kind of falling apart there. But I mean, it's just hard for us because wide receiver, unfortunately, is still one of our biggest needs right now. How about I counter? What if I say? Let's see. I'm just looking at Steelers lineup. I'm trying to throw something spicy back at you. I'm thinking we forget the 5th rounder, man. How about you just send me? You know, you can stick with the conditional 7th and 27, but let's see if is there anybody on? I'm not even seeing anybody on. Maybe this isn't going to work. I'm looking for a safety. We need defensive help here in Vegas. We need a lot of help here in Vegas, but safety is one of them. How about this? How about I need a draft. I need a draft of safety. So how about we do the unconditional 5th and we do an unconditional 6th in 27. That's what I need to give up Jacoby Myers. Unconditional 5th, unconditional 6th.
2 5th-round picks.
Essentially. That's
essentially a 5th and a 7th.
But then Jacoby Myers is all yours, man. That flexibility, you can run flexibility till the dogs come home.
I guess I'll take that.
Okay. And I think that's probably my best trade so far. I don't think the Jets want me anymore as their GM. I think the Raiders aren't going to see Jacoby Myers after this season anyway, so you might as well get something out of it.
Exactly. I think they need to get him off that team.
I think so too. I think you better do it now where you can get something for him instead of losing him for free. Joseph, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't think the Raiders were going to lose this trade because, like you guys were talking about, he's going to be off of the team next year anyway. Get something for him while you can. It's not like you're going to get anything out of him this year that means anything. Better to just get rid of him. I think that by getting even the extra stuff, I think the Raiders win even more. But I think it wasn't that crazy. It's not that unfair of a trade. I also think that the Steelers win and Aaron Rodgers wins because that is a wide receiver that could be good for him. And if anyone can deal with diva wide receiver ones, it's Mike Tomlin. So I think that was a fair trade. Both parties benefit. So, alrighty. Well, that was super fun. Trade deadline is always crazy, but it is always fun to see what could happen. Will be interesting to see what's going to happen with the trade deadline. Is there anything that you guys are hoping happens with your teams or specifically around the league?
That is a great question. I'm pulling up my team real quick. If you beat me to
because I know the Colts probably number one issue is cornerback, and the Packers number one issue is cornerback, and the Lions number one issue is cornerback. Like all three of us need a DB. Outside of that, is there anything that you would really want though?
Yeah, like I would be happy giving up. I'll tell you exactly who I'd be happy giving up. I'd be happy giving up Adonai Mitchell on the Colts. We'd be 8-0 if it wasn't for that guy. And that's probably just coming from a biased fan out of anger, right? Out of wrath. I'm like an Anakin Skywalker episode 3 right now. But Adonai Mitchell, I would love to see him go, and I would love to maybe see Giants cornerback Deonte Banks. He was a 2023 first-round pick, but he's kind of fallen out of the starting lineup. Yeah, I think that Banks would kind of be our best shot at getting a decent cornerback depth there. Xavier Howard is just he's gone. We just need more players there.
I saw one potential trade where you trade Adonai Mitchell to the Jaguars in exchange for their third-string cornerback, Jerrion Jones. And I thought that was interesting. That was before Travis Hunter went down. And so now they're pretty skinny at cornerback and wide receiver.
I just don't love
with Travis Hunter out.
I don't love interdivision trades. Like and I'm not trying to be argumentative here, but earlier I think we talked about sending Breece Hall to the Patriots. Like, that makes so much sense on paper. But at the same time, if you're the Jets, do you want to be playing Breece Hall against you twice a year? It's kind of a Philadelphia Eagles, New York Giants with Saquon Barkley,
Yeah.
right? Like holy crap! I don't know, and especially for me, I get chills thinking about, okay, what my brain goes and branches into 50 different directions. Okay, this guy hasn't been very good for us this year. He kind of screwed a game for us. What if we send Adonai Mitchell to the Jaguars and then he comes back and beats us again, and it's our second loss on the season, and those are our 2 losses are thanks to Adonai Mitchell, one on a different team, one on our own team. That's just – but, I mean, at the same time, at the end of the day, if it makes sense for you, if it looks good on paper, if you really think you're getting a good deal out of it, then why wouldn't you trade with your interdivision rivals? Anyway, sorry. That's it. Rant's over.
Matt, what about you with the Lions or whoever else?
Lions, I don't think they're going to make any moves. And I don't really think they need to make any moves. People always talk about edge rusher. Everyone wants an edge rusher opposite Aiden Hutchinson. But they just had a guy come back off injured reserve, and he's played 1, maybe 2 games, and he's not been as good as they expected him to be, but who is at full capacity when they come off injured reserve. It takes a while to come back fully. As for cornerback, that is one of our big needs, but honestly, the team has played really well with the corners that they've been able to pick up. And the thing you have to remember about Detroit is they not only do they value the talent, but I'd argue that even more so they value culture and the kind of influence that whoever they pick up brings to the team. And that makes it so that when they're drafting, I think they do a really good job drafting. They're able to find people who fit that culture. But when you're looking for trades, it's a little bit more difficult to find someone who's both talented and fits in your culture. And so I really don't think that they'll make any trades, and I really don't think that they need to, with their corners coming back off of injured reserve in the coming weeks. I think that they're going to be pretty solid.
I'm with you. I would be shocked if anyone in the NFC North really sees any trade activity. The Vikings are not in a position, unless they're trading away pieces, but I don't think they view themselves as a team that's wanting to rebuild. I think they're just, you know what, maybe this year's just a tough year for us and we'll get them next year. We don't want to be rebuilding immediately. And the Bears, I don't see them in a position where they can really trade for anything and do much this year either. So I'm with you. I think this whole division is kind of just stagnant with who they are, and I think that's probably more beneficial to the Packers and the Lions, who have Super Bowl caliber teams already, and for the teams like the Bears and the Vikings, who are just kind of in limbo right now, where it feels like they've got the pieces that could make something happen, but it's not happening. I think that's the worst place that you could be. Anyway, anything else you guys have on trade weekend? Anything else you want to talk about?
How are you feeling? How are you feeling, Joseph? You've given up a lot for some certain defensive players on the Packers side of the ball. No draft picks till 2027, second rounders. Any chance of any moves towards draft capital for the Packers, or are you guys pretty set where you're at?
A lot of people are saying that we've got a pretty deep wide receiver room, so we might trade a wide receiver.
Okay.
Until Jaden Reed comes off of IR, that's definitely not going to happen, because at this point, Dontavian Wicks is out, Jaden Reed is on IR, Christian Watson just got back from IR. We need the depth at wide receiver right now because we view ourselves as playoff contenders, and that's, I think, the only place that we have the pieces to actually sell and we're just not healthy enough to be able to sell at that position. So you know what? Every time you think, oh, we don't have a first-round pick in 2026 or 2027, you just say, okay, well, we're going to pick Micah Parsons with our 2026 first-round pick, and everyone else would obviously pick Micah Parsons. If he was in the draft right now at 2026, he would be the first overall pick. We'll take our first-round pick, and we'll draft Micah Parsons in 2026, and we'll be happy about it.
Love it. And at the end of the day, let's just be honest with ourselves here. This should be called, like, the instead of NFL Talking Points, the NFL Happy Fans podcast, because all three of our teams are doing pretty good this year. Wouldn't be surprised if, 10 toes down, all three, the Detroit Lions, the Green Bay Packers, and the Indianapolis Colts, they just stand on business. I think standing going into the trade deadline is not a bad move for any of us.
I could see all three of our teams making it past wild card round pretty easily this year. You could pretty easily see a Lions, Packers, Colts, Chiefs conference championship games.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it going into trade deadline. If it's broke, fix it. That's kind of those are the two rules going into this weekend.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much. Matthew Arscott Sports Show. Do you want to plug anything on the way out?
Just Matthew Arscott Sports Show. Go tune in. Lots of good stuff. You got college football happening here behind me if you're watching on video. And we're just excited for what's to come the next few weeks. World Series Game 7 tonight. Gonna be an all-time classic. Win or go home. Winner take all tonight in baseball, 6 p.m.
The Super Bowl of baseball.
The Super Bowl of baseball, I should say.
Matt, thank you so much for joining us. I love talking football with you. I know that we haven't gotten to talk too much, but you always have really good points and always know exactly what you're talking about, it feels like. So happy that you could join us. And thank you, everyone, for listening. I am so happy to be able to do this podcast. It's been so much fun. It is a lot of work putting it together, all of the points that I want to talk about, and editing and getting it all figured out. But it has been super fun, and it makes it more fun having guests on. Matthew, thank you so much for joining, and I will see you guys later in the week to talk NFL preview for this coming week. Until then, heed the call.